So you've been charged with a felony in Nevada, and I get a lot of questions about how much time am I looking at, if I plead guilty, if I'm convicted. Obviously that depends on the nature of the charge, what you plead guilty to or what you're convicted of. But in Nevada, for a felony, you don't receive a fixed sentence. In other words, let's say that you plead guilty to a robbery. In Nevada, the judge is not going to sentence you to 3 years in prison or 6 years in prison. For a felony, you're going to receive a sentencing range. And what that means is that at the end of the day, it will be up to, if you do end up getting sentenced to prison, it'll be up to the parole board when you get released from prison. For example, let's just say you plead guilty to a burglary. In Nevada, a burglary sentence is anywhere from 1 to 10 years. Now that doesn't mean that you're going to get sentenced to 10 years in prison. You're going to get sentenced anywhere within that range of 1 to 10 years, keeping in mind that the most the judge can sentence you to is 40% of the maximum sentence. In other words, on a 1 to 10 year sentence for a burglary, 10 years is the maximum. The most the judge could sentence you to is a range of 4 years minimum to 10 years maximum. That means if you go to prison, after 4 years, you're eligible to be released. If the parole board decides not to release you, then you would come back the following year and be eligible for release. But there's a range between 4 to 10 years. That being said, the judge can sentence you to anywhere less than 4 years as well. So they could sentence you to 1 to 10, 2 to 10, 2 to 5, as long as the bottom end is not more than 40% of the top end. Now in Nevada, even if you get that sentence, the judge on many different crimes, not all of them, has the option to sentence you to probation. So if the judge gives you the opportunity of probation, for example, on that burglary, the judge will still impose a sentence of prison, but they will suspend that sentence. In other words, as long as you successfully complete probation, you don't do any time. But if you fail your probation, you violate your conditions, then the judge would impose that original underlying sentence and send you to prison under that same sentencing structure.